Hey everyone, welcome back. Next couple of videos are probably going to be a little bit of a hodgepodge of things because with typical efficiency I've forgotten to order things, and so one or two jobs are sort of in abeyance. I was going to rebuild the clutch and everything on the Enfield / Indian here, and then I suddenly remembered that I can't do that until I sort out this sprocket, which as you may remember is really badly hooked. Again, memory's going, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this Indian Chief engine that I'm using has an M series gearbox, and instead of 5 splines it's 6 splines, and it's slightly different size as well, diameter. So I'm going to have to do something. Apparently I'm not going to find a sprocket like this, certainly I haven't been able to, and I've been advised that they are hen's teeth items. So I'm going to have to come up with some way to do that. So that sort of slowed that down. And then speaking of sprockets, I was going to do the rear wheel and put all that in. And I decided that the bolt up sprocket for that was just a bit too worn, so I'm having to order one of them. So we'll do what's available, and I'll try and keep something going each week. We probably will do something with the Yamaha Special as well. But anyway, I've got the wheels laced up and true, so they came out nicely. So what I am going to do today is put the tyres on, but I'll show you putting one tyre on. I know you probably know how to do it, but there's a couple of little wrinkles to it that might help for those people who are still struggling. I must admit, I don't like putting tyres on. What else we're going to do, we'll just do as we go along. Probably put the barrels on. In this video or the next one, there'll be a trip to Steam Shop Dave's for valve guides, so you'll see all that. So anyway, as I say, just take it as it comes. First, a disclaimer. This is not the way to put a tyre on. This is the way I put tyres on, and I have been doing it for a number of years, and they seem to go on and it doesn't do them any damage. So just so as you know, before I'm inundated with comments about the proper way to do them, this is just my way. Okay, so first of all, what do you need? Well, it's a brand new wheel, so check to make sure there's no spoke ends sticking up. You'll need a rim tape. You'll need an inner tube. You'll notice that I've inflated this one. I always do that. A, because they come very flat in the box, and B, because like spark plugs, which you sometimes get bad ones, I've had inner tubes that have had leaky valves and so on straight out the box. So I always like to pump them up and just leave them for a little while to make sure they don't go down. You'll also need a couple of tyre levers, but hopefully, if all goes well, we're not going to use these at all, because who likes to pinch tubes and then have to take the damn thing back off? If you are going to use them, short one is probably fine. This is in fact one of these long ones cut in two, but I left one long for, I sometimes have to take old tyres off, you know, and then they need a lot of effort. The other thing I would recommend is a lubricant. Now this is sort of proper stuff you can buy, but good old fairy liquid, washing up liquid will work. And something to take the valve out. These are really handy too. They cost next to nothing. I've got 2 or 3 of them to make sure I don't lose them, but they're perfect. They've got the little notched end, so you pop it in and out comes the valve. There we go. So we'll let that go down completely. Now the last thing you're going to need, obviously, is a tyre. Now as I said, there was a couple of little dodges to doing this on. The lubricant is one. The other major thing that people get caught up on is when you're putting the tyre on, the tyre is going to sit up here. This is a 19-inch rim. That's where a 19-inch tyre is going to sit. So if you have it on that when you're trying to put it on, you're never going to get it over this lip, which is another ½ inch. So what you need to do is, when you get the bottom of the tyre on, it's got to go down into the well. And then that gives you more room at the other side to get it on. Right, so that's one thing. Make sure you get right down into the well. Next thing is the lubricant I mentioned. But what I find to be the thing that makes putting tyres on easier than anything else is getting the tyre warm. That's why the tyre isn't here at the moment, it's out in the sun. During the summer, or even if you've got a sunny winter day, put the tyre out, get it as warm as you can. If it's in the winter, I used to hang them up over the stove, but if you get that rubber nice and warm, then believe me, it goes on a lot easier. The other thing you should do is, you see I'm just using a box here, don't do it on the floor. Get it up where you can work on it easily, something that's supported it. If you can get a bin or something that's just the right size diameter to fit it on, so much the better. So okay, first thing we're going to do then is put the rim tape on. So we'll find our hole. Got to be a hole in here somewhere. I don't believe this. Oh, I was going to say that would be a real first. But wouldn't be unexpected with me. For a minute there I thought there was a valve hole. So just pop this thing on. Whoop. Stick your finger in the valve hole to keep it right, and just put it on like that. It will move a little bit. Just get it in, seat it nicely, covering them. Alright. I'm going to turn you off for a second because I'm going to go out and get the tyre. Now then, this isn't particularly warm, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, put some lubricant on. Make sure you put the lubricant on the inside of the tyre. That's the bit we want to slip over the rim. Okay, so that goes on there. And that goes in there. Now. Lube on there with the last couple of inches to go. As I say, this isn't quite as warm as I normally like to get them, which of course would be the case today. There we go. Stage one. Now, don't forget, if you're putting a radial on, it'll have little arrows on to tell you which way it's supposed to go. But this one doesn't, so we're alright. Now then, what am I doing? Oh, inner tube. Let's find that elusive hole. There it is. Make sure you put a little bit in either side, and it makes it easier to find the hole, push it through. the nut on. And I'm going to tighten it up now to make sure it's in the right place while I get the rest of the inner tube in. Actually, the thing I've got this box standing on is a little high. I'm not being able to exert enough downward sort of pressure, but we'll persevere. Okay, now once it's in, what I like to do is put the valve back in and inflate it so it forms up and gets itself nicely inside there, so there's no folds or kinks or anything in it. Okay, and then we're just going to let it back down again. I know now it's well seated in the ring. Okay, I'm going to ease off so the valve will go up a little bit. Now the valve stops you getting the bead of the tyre right down into the well, so you leave the valve till last. We're going to put it on here to get it as far in as we can. So once again, put our lubricant on, making sure we're getting it on the back. You can put some on the rim as well. Because rubber, as we all know, has a very high coefficient of friction. Otherwise, it wouldn't work on the road. It would just slide about. So that, of course, is a bit of a nuisance when you're trying to slide it onto something. It doesn't want to slide. Alright. So as I say, we're going to work our way around to the valve. So first of all, here's what we've got to make sure. The tyre is down in the well on the other side. Could have done with having this a good bit warmer. Oh, good, you get to see me work here, aren't you? Make sure it's all right down in the well. let your lubricant dry out. I might go and stick this back out in the sunshine actually to let it warm up a bit more. I am, because as I say, the heat is the key. Whew. So let's turn it off for a few minutes. Get enough sunshine out there, so I've put it on the heater, against the heater. So let's give it another try. I've also put a pair of rubber gloves on to give myself a little bit more grip. And you'll notice I've lowered it. I've never actually used that stand before. I normally have them here, but I've lifted it up so it'd be easier to film. But I wasn't getting any purchase on it, so let's try again. Come on. God. There we go. Hey, you bugger! But no tyre levers. I hope I didn't get in front of it too much there. I tell you, the heat is the key. If you warm it up, it's amazing how much further they'll stretch when they're hot than when they're cold. You want it actually almost as hot as you can bear it. Generally the sun will do that for you, but if not, just put it against the heater. And blow it up to get the... You hear the little blip then? And then go around and check that the little line on the tyre is up on the off the rim, so you know the tyre's on the bead. Pump it really well up, leave it, and that should be it. I should have got it hotter to start with, then I'd have looked really clever. There we go. Okay. So, I'm showing a red battery. That'll be enough for the day. And as I say, you don't have any worries that you've caught the tube with the tyre lever. Okay, now on to something else. Okay, so now we'll put our front wheel in. It's actually a couple of days later than when you last saw me, so as you can see, that wheel is still nicely pumped up, which makes the little bit of effort worthwhile, because there's nothing worse than getting the tyre on and having it go down because you pinched the tube. Anyway, what we've got to do here is when we tighten the nuts up on either side of the wheel, make sure we get the slots on both sides the same, because if they're out, you're never going to get it into here. So let's see what happens. Put them in, get them lined up both sides, and then it goes. Okay. Make sure we're on the outsides of the nuts there, in tight. Okay, little thing about the end caps. When you put end caps on, particularly actually the BSA Triumph ones that have 4 studs, you'll see, hang on, let me pull you in to make sure you can see. There you go. There's a little gap. You couldn't have the hole the same size as the spindle, or else these would just go tight and the spindle wouldn't be gripped. So you've got to have a little gap there so you clamp it on this. Do not tighten one side up so that it's really tight there and then try to tighten the other side up, because if you do, you'll probably crack this right through. These, as you can see, have a big gap. Some of them will only have a small gap, and you can actually tighten it up so you've got no gap on one side, and then believe me, if you tighten the other side up, you'll break these. So put them on and tighten them up a bit at a time on each side, keeping that gap nicely even. I lashed out and bought new nuts. You just put them on the other side so I keep us right there. Whoops, where's that gone? Oh, had my last trial of the season yesterday. Didn't do too badly. The usual stupid mistakes, but on the whole, they're pretty good. I just mentioned that to fill the gap there. Okay, so as I say, we're going to tighten these up evenly. Okay, so there's our wheeling. So the next thing we need is to put the brake arms on, which, as I said, I hadn't put on because I wanted to know where they were going to go. Put the cable on and the brake cable stop. Now I'm going to bring you in and show you those individual items. First thing I'll show you is the cable stop. There it is. It screws into one of the lugs on the frame, and you'll notice that this side is just an ordinary hole. This side's got a relief cut into it for the cable adjuster to go in. Now, when you screw these in, they go on the inside. Don't screw them in tight, and don't worry about finding little spaces and things to get them in the right position for the cable. You screw them in, and then when they're exactly right for where you want them, so you can move around, when you put the nut on, that will lock everything together. And of course you've got the cable in, so they can't really come loose. So that goes in on the inside of that, so I'll show you that in a moment. Now the other thing is, there are 2 cables, and you generally buy them in 2s. Let me just show you this end, and you'll notice that one is longer than t'other. So the long one goes on the far side because it's got further to come across to the handlebar lever, and the short one goes on the near side here. Now, speaking of handlebar levers, we have to have a way of evening out the pull on the 2 cables. So we have this whiffle tree. And just out of interest here, I've got I do have an original lever, and you'll see on this one that the whiffletree is on a piece of the perch that's all cast in, it's all one. Whereas a replacement one you get, because they won't go to the cost of making this whole thing, they take an ordinary lever, and where you would screw the cable adjuster in, they screw in this nice little piece, and it's quite nicely made, but obviously it's not the same. And the reason I'm not using these is because on the Gold Star that I restored, they were the same. They had unusual levers, but you couldn't get any reproduction ones, and it cost me over $200 just to get the two pairs of handlebar levers put together. So when you think about it, that's an awful lot of bottles of Newcastle Brown, so we bought these. So what happens is, instead of the nipple of a cable going in there, you actually have a cross piece, and this again has two holes in it, slotted. One side just ordinary, the other side with a little dimple in to take the cable. So that goes in there, and your cable comes in through here, goes to there, and the same on the other side. And then when you pull, this will move to accommodate differences in the pull of the two cables. Alright, so let's pull out again. Back on the forks. So now we're going to put in our cable stop there. As I say, that screws in. Probably got my arm in the way there, have I? This is another one of the things where if you take the trouble to clean all the threads up first, you're not trying to put a Tommy bar in or something to move this. It'll just screw in by hand nice and easily. So as I say, don't worry about tightening that up. Set it so that it's ready for the cable, and then just put your nut on. And then when we've got this all set, we can tighten the nut and everything will be okay. So let's put our cable in. So as I say, we want the shorter of the two to go in. Alright. So that's going to go in there. Just stick it up there out the way. Put our adjuster in the slot for the cable. Right, there's the adjuster in, and now you can see, because we haven't tightened it up, we can move this around until everything is okay. Probably going to go like that somehow, but we'll deal with the top in a minute. So the next thing we'll do is put this on. Maybe something like that. So we put that on the splines, and then there's enough thread on there to get that nut on, and this will pull it through onto those splines once I get a spanner. Yeah, I was very busy and I put everything away. So we'll just continue tightening that up and it'll pull the splines in. So let's look at the handlebar end. Now I'm going to change a little bit of focus here so you can see two things. See if I go the right way. Okay, there's the first thing. You'll notice the cable, there's a hole here. There's one in the full nacelle as well for the brake cables to come through. Keeps them all nicely out the way. Then when they're through, they're going to go through the hole in the whiffletree, like that. Then in goes this piece. Nipple goes into that. And then there's a slotted ferrule goes on there, because the hole in the whiffle tree is big enough to get the ball through on the end of the cable. So we've got to have something to stop the cable out of just pulling through the hole. And there's the first cable in. Let me move you around to show you that a little better. Maybe should have had you at this angle before. Anyway, there it is. So there's the cable coming up. Cable ferrule, whiffle tree through and into this cross brace here. So I'll put the other one on and then we'll show you the cables working correctly. And there we have everything on, and you can see just the cable runs have made this angle over a little bit. But that works fine. So there we have the front wheel in, the brakes and everything. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really happy. Let me pull you back with the cable runs, but that's something that can be looked at a later date when more things are on. So let's see. Whoop. There you go. They don't look right to me. That's through the popper holes. I might even make up a couple of little clip things to hold them, but I've just been looking at some photographs and that seems to be the way they are on this model. So that's that. Got a whole bunch of stuff ordered at Hitchcock's, I think I mentioned. So saddle cover's on its way from Leighton's. I mentioned going to Steam Shop Dave's. That's obviously now going to be in the next video. So I would think probably what we're going to do next is put the barrels and the heads and the little carb manifold on. Then we'll see if the bits for the seat and put the mud guard in, and the bits I forgot for the rear brake, get them on, and that will all go on. And if I can get the clock in here, I can put the headlamp unit in, and oh, we've got a wiring harness coming. It's really moving along. So that's it for today. See you another time. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves.